Hello YouTube, I'll show you how to configure your Hibernate settings in your Linux distribution. It may be anything Ubuntu or GNOME, KDE, XFCE or any Linux distribution. Let's start by understanding what is swap. Swap is a space on the disk. This is used when the amount of physical RAM memory is full. When a Linux system runs out of RAM, inactive pages are moved from the RAM to a swap space. Swap space can take the form of entire or dedicated swap partition or a swap file. In most cases, when running Linux on a virtual machine, a swap partition is not present, so the only option is to create a swap file. So before continuing with this tutorial, check if your Ubuntu installation or any other Linux distribution already has a swap enabled by typing. Let's type this. So as you can see, I have a swap file enabled in my distribution. So the swap file size is 10 GB. So it is a swap file, not a swap partition. Mark it. So if the output is empty, then your kernel doesn't support it. So if like in most of the recent Linux distributions, swap file is supported. Yeah. So if you already have a swap file or you want to increase or create a new swap file, you need to turn off the old existing swap file. Remember, I am here talking about the swap file, not the swap partition. To increase the swap partition, use the GUI tool called gparted. You can find it easily in App Store in any Linux distribution. Gparted is very well known uh, for uh, for hard disk resizing. So you can find it in this file in the stores, app stores. Note, in the latest distribution of Linux, swap file is created automatically. So like if you are using any of the Linux distribution, then if you do not create any swap partition, then the operating system itself creates a swap file when you install a distribution. So if you have already installed a distribution without a swap partition, then then that size is not according to the recommended size of creating a swap partition. So you need to delete that swap partition. No, delete that swap file. I'm not talking about the partition, I'm talking about the swap file. You need to delete the swap file in order to continue this tutorial. So if you decide swap file size not is according to your wish, you need to create a new one. Now let's turn off the swap file which is already created and make a new swap file. So you can click this. You can type this. So I won't type enter because I have already followed this guide. So when you type this command, it will turn off your swap file. So let's progress. Start by creating a file which will be used for swap. Note, if you have like there is a recommendation for creating a swap file. So if you have less than 4 GB swap file or swap partition, then you have to create a swap file or partition twice as the amount of RAM. So in this case, the if the swap partition is 4 GB or swap file is 4 GB, then you have to create a swap file of at least 8 GB. So if you and in the another scenario, if you have a swap file of greater than 4 GB, then it is RAM plus 2 GB. So in my case, if it is 4 GB, then it should be, if it is greater than 4 GB, then it should be a RAM which is 4 GB plus 2 GB extra. So it is 6 GB swap file. So it so so my Linux distribution has a RAM of 8 GB. So I'm creating a swap file of 10 GB. So you need to type this command. So you can change the value here. So I have put 10 GB here. So you can put anything as prescribed for your distribution. So sudo fallocate l. You have to type this here. I have note that I have already done this tutorial, so I won't do it again. So when you click on this, when you type this and press enter, uh, then a new file will be created of 10 GB. So now we have to give a permission for the swap file, so that it can be accessed only by the root user. Okay. Uh, Now you have to click enter. So use this mkswap utility to set up the Linux swap area on the file. So this tutorial is to create a swap file, not the swap partition. Note that. So you can use this tool to create utility to set up swap area. So just copy it and paste it here. Yeah, and press enter. Now activate the swap file using the following command: sudo swap on swap file. Just copy it. You have to activate it. Press here, okay, and press enter. Okay, and to make changes permanently to the system, like when you system boots in back, when you reboot your system, so that swap file has to be retained, because you don't have to create the swap file again and again until when you reboot the system. So to make the changes permanent, you have to type this command. Type this command and press enter. So paste the following command. No, yeah, press enter. So this file. So like when you click on this and press enter, you will have this thing shown up. So you have to copy this file, this thing, and just paste it here. Like I have added this line here. So you have to add this line here as well. So it will retain your swap file to successive reboots. And just to write this file, write the file, you have to press Ctrl and O, and to exit, Ctrl plus O. To write the file, you have to press Ctrl plus O and enter, and to exit, Ctrl plus X. Then you will get back to the window, back to your terminal. So like now verify that the swap is active by using either of the swap on or a free command as shown below. Copy it and just paste it here. See, as you can see, like I have this swap file of 10 GB which is on right now. So yeah, so now you have to check for the swap swap memory. So here I can see that I have 9 GB of swap memory in my system, which I've created 10 GB, but 1 GB is used for internal purpose, so it displays only 9 GB. Now your swap file is created successfully. Rejoice. Uh, this tutorial was to create a swap file, not the swap partition. Swap partition can be created using gpat, that you can find tutorials online. Gpat, you can just have to uh, resize your existing partition, create a new partition, and make that partition as a swap. So it is very easy to create that. So now let's move to a Hibernate configuration, like how to hibernate your system. To determine if your swap is a separate partition or a file, you primary partition. You just have to copy this and then paste it here. See, I got a swap file here written. So my system has a swap file, not a swap partition. So if it was a swap partition, then the command will be different. Then the output will be different. The command will be same, but the output will be different. So in the swap partition, output, you will have the UUID as well. UUID as well. So in this swap file, so then you have to you have to get the UID code of your swap file or partition. So when you type this for your swap partition, you will have the UID code, right? So for the swap file, you have to go an extra step. You have to copy this command, and then you have to just click enter. You will have this UID here. Just copy to a text editor. Just copy it to any text editor. This thing is important. This UID from here to here. So just copy it, because this is used in the further tutorials. So now let's see something like this in one of the lines displayed. You'll have like this thing. Just copy till here, not this thing. Just copy till here. Okay, I'll just remove this thing. Yeah, just copy it. Just copy this thing. Just copy this thing. Modify your grub configuration file to include the UID code, so the system knows where to find the Hibernate snapshot. We are going to use the nano editor. So let's copy this thing and paste it here. Okay, so you'll be guided to this this page. So like you have when the editor opens, look for a line like this. You'll have to look for a line like this. You'll have a line like this. Okay, here you'll have a line like this here. So you have to change it to like this. You have to change it to like this. So you have to put your append this thing, append this line here. Resume equals to UID, which you had copied it before, like which you had copied for your system. This is for my system, so UID for your system will be different. So you have to append it, followed by this colon, inverted, yeah. So your line should look like this, similar to this, not like this, similar to like this. Okay, now press Ctrl O and enter. Press O and enter to write the file, to save what you have typed, and then to exit out of the window, press Ctrl X. So you have to exit out, press by pressing Ctrl X. Now if you have a swap partition, then you're done. Like this, this process of creating a Hibernate setting for a swap partition is almost done, but for a swap file you have to continue. You need if you are a swap file, then continue along. You need to determine the additional resume offset. This is required for a system to locate a file inside your existing partition. So existing hard drive partition. So you have to add this command. You have to type this command. So you will be guided with this screen. So our interest is this number 34816. You will have a different one depending on your system. For my system it is 34816. Copy it to a text editor. Just to save it, because this is required for the tutorials. So you'll have something like this. Okay, you'll have something like this. Now what you have to do is go back to the grub, etc default grub. Go back here. So you should type this command, nano etc grub. You have to go back to this area. So you can go there by typing this command. You can go back by typing this command. Go back over there, and then you have to append this line with that number. Like I'll show you. I've appended this line with resume offset equals to the number which I told you to save, like which you got it, 34816. You have to append it. So it will look something similar to this. You have to append it. Put a space after here, after this last digit, and then put space and then append it. Now write out to save this file, Ctrl O and enter, and then to exit out of the window, Ctrl X. Now you're almost done. For both swap file and swap partition. For both the swap file which you have created and for the swap partition which you already created using gparted, you have to type this command, sudo update grub. It updates the grub for the new settings, for the new swap file and for swap partition settings. So you have to update it, and then you have to reboot your system. Just click on this by clicking on sudo reboot. Okay, sudo reboot. Once you reboot it, once you reboot your system, you're done. You have created configured your system for an Hibernate settings. So you need to modify some settings. You need to modify the system configuration so that Hibernate is offered as an option in your power settings and in the shutdown menu. The next command is all in one line. We need to modify the system configuration so that the Hibernate is offered as an option in your power setting and in the shutdown menu. The next command is all in one line. I written it twice. Okay. Yeah. So like for any distribution, like a Linux distribution, to have an option of Hibernate, like here I am running XFCE, so I will have an option like Hibernate here. So to have this, you have to type this command in your computer. Do this. It is better to do this before you reboot your system. It is better to do this. Uh, Press this thing and press enter and press enter. So once you press this thing and press enter, then you'll guide it to this window, but you won't have anything written like this in your file. So you have to copy this thing from here to here. You have to copy it and paste it here. Paste it here in this file, or if just paste it, you can paste it here like this. Copy it and paste it here like this. So now you should see the option. Now just write it out, or Control O, enter, and Control X. Now you can reboot your system freely. Now the Hibernate works. It will work, and I have tested this system in my PC, and it works. Out of the box, it works. And if it doesn't work, then comment out. Then comment your problem, so I'll respond to it when I say it. Now reboot, and the Hibernate will work. Now you're done. If you want more, go ahead with Hibernate. If you want to make your system go to Hibernate when you close the lid, then follow along, or else the tutorial is over for you. So for XFCE people, I'm using XFCE, then I can tell it, then I can recommend what the steps which I have taken for XFCE people as well. Use this XFCE config command below to tell systemd to handle power management. By default, XFCE doesn't handle power management, power management by systemd. Systemd. It handles something power management by login cl, something like that. To enable this setting, you have to type this command and then paste it here, and then you're done. Then your system power management will be handled by systemd. So make systemd login, handle, close. Okay. Now you have to copy this thing, and let me cancel this thing. Okay. You have to copy this thing and press enter. You'll guide it with the screen. The only option you have to change is you have to change this thing, handle lid switch to Hibernate, and handle lid switch dock to Hibernate, and just delete the asterisk, delete the hash symbol before the words. Just delete it. Handle switch dock Hibernate should look like this, and then Control O and enter, and then Control X to exit out. Now you need to type in the terminal this thing. This will update your systemd for your new settings. So you have to copy and paste it here. So now it's done. Now when you close the lid, your system will go to Hibernate, and when you open the lid and press the power button, the system will move back to the saved position, the saved state. So the tutorial is done, and please subscribe to my channel and comment if you have any questions. So thank you for watching. Goodbye. Have a nice day.